Yeah, you should definitely not get the DuckTales theme song stuck in your head right before you start.
I can't even. I can't even sing the DuckTales
Danger
theme
looks
song.
behind you. It's a stranger out to find you.
Welcome to DuckTales episode 2. I'm your host, Scrooge McDuck.
You are now in the zone with Fanboy Explosion. Listen to the words of Fanboy Explosion. A podcast of awesomeness. A chance to grow your mind. Your fingers are now playing Fanboy Explosion.
Alrighty, welcome everybody to the patch notes for January 23rd. I'm Cameron Cook.
And I'm Seth Turner.
Yep, and like every week, we're just going to be kind of chatting about how our weeks went, what we were playing this week, what kind of news caught our eye, and just, sit back, relax a little bit, and just talk about the week. So how did your week go, Seth?
My week went splendidly.
Splendidly.
Week 2 of Fanboy Explosion was a lot less work. We didn't pour out quite as much stuff, so I had a little bit more time to relax. Had a fun weekend with my family, came back in, and, just kind of kicked it back. As far as how everything's going, I actually have a little bit of an update from last week's patch notes. We talked about my comic book shop closing down. I saw an article today, talked a little bit more about why that happened. So it apparently was a financial thing.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't quite generating the revenue that they wanted to. So they decided to close it down rather than sell it. So there's that.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. The saga is concluded. Yeah, I feel like that happens with a lot of comic shops. I know just here in my town, we have several right now, but there used to be several more. And it just seems like every couple years, one of them goes away, and it's just financial reality. It's tough out there. It's tough out there for that kind of stuff, so sad to see it go.
Apparently the margins are not quite as good as they used to be, and the community has grown so large that it's all, like they kind of said, like they had the busiest year that they've ever had, but they generated much less revenue than they normally do, because there's more and more they basically referred to them as like non-comic book buyers, like people who are not interested in comics.
Well, what do they buy? Do they buy, or do they not buy anything?
They come in to look at the merchandise and then they don't buy anything. So they said they have a lot of foot traffic and a lot of community buzz, but they were like the honest truth is there's not, like, it didn't increase the amount of comics they sold, it just increased the number of people in the store.
So were they like about to go under, or was it just like a preemptive thing? They said, you said they didn't want to sell it, but
they didn't want to sell. I don't think they were close to going under. It was just one of those things where, like, one of the co-owners had said that him and his wife had kind of settled into a like new roles, like his wife had just gotten a new job, and so probably it's one of those deals where it's like the stress of running the place was probably greater than the output they got from it, and so now they had a fallback plan, so they just decided to follow through on that. So,
well, that sucks, but oh well.
It is what it is.
Yeah, my week went pretty good. It wasn't very exciting, I guess, but I got a couple little projects done. I write for a place called Tech Times. And I do a lot of video game stuff, but I also do some pop culture stories and just random internet junk, I guess you could describe it as.
Cross promotion.
Yeah, cross promotion. And so this week I actually did a deep dive into amiibos. Now, obviously I knew what amiibos were and have been keeping track with that stuff, but I wanted to write like a guide for what amiibos are compatible with what games, and, all the amiibos that are available right now, all the ones that are coming out. And I did not realize how confusing all of that mess is. Oh, yeah. I really did not understand. Like, it was baffling to me. It took me a while to wrap my head around it. Because, well, I had thought that all amiibos, you could only use one amiibo per game. And I read that a lot of places. A lot of prominent, like, video game publications were you can only use one amiibo per game, and they didn't really clarify what that meant. So I was like, oh, well, that sucks. You buy your Link amiibo and you can't use it, and you can only use it in Smash Brothers, and you can't also use it in, Hyrule Warriors without oversaving your game. But it actually doesn't work that way, which I did not know, and I'm not sure if most people know that. Only certain games actually save data to the amiibo, which Smash Brothers is one of them. The vast majority of games that support it right now or will support it, they don't save data, so you're free to use them and unlock additional content in those games. I think the only other game right now coming out that's going to save to the cartridge or to the figure and overwrite data that's on there is going to be Mario Party 10. So I didn't know that, and so I looked at what games saved and what amiibos did what in what game, and it's pretty confusing. Nintendo has like a really weird, confusing chart like on their website, which is where I was pulling most of this stuff from, and so I did that, and I was glad to finish that. I trying to help people and clarify some of that stuff because I was even confused, and like I said, a lot of sites weren't actually really going in depth as to what all kind of stuff that meant, what all the amiibos meant, and how all that worked. So I knocked that out. And then another big thing that happened this week, which you know about this because I've been talking about it, that it was coming for a while, which is my World of Warcraft subscription ran out, which you're probably happy about, actually.
Kinda, maybe
a little bit. Now I've played off and on basically since the game came out. I think I actually jumped on board the year after Vanilla came out. And I've been playing off and on ever since. I played for about 3 years, pretty hardcore. Took a couple years off, came back, played for a little while, left, came back, and I've been playing Warlords of Draenor now. And I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's probably one of the best expansions that they've had for that game. And it's a lot of fun, but I just, $15 a month, it was kind of whittling away at me, and I wasn't playing it a whole lot. And so I just watched the timer go down. I don't do the credit card thing. I just buy a month worth of game time at a time. So I just watched it drain away. And you played with me for about a month.
Yeah, I was there for a month or two.
Yeah. And so then yours ran out, and now mine's run out. So we're out of Azeroth at the moment for the time being. Until I'm probably gonna wait for them to have like another major content patch or something like that before I dive back in. But
it's it's tough for people who are not dedicated full-time raiders, because a lot of that new content is raids and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean you can do LFR, which is what I was doing, but I had basically gotten all the gear I could get from the LFR version of High Mall, and so without having a dedicated like raiding group and signing on every Monday and Tuesday for like 5 hours to do the raid, I just didn't, there wasn't much for me to do, so so that's why I decided to let it run out. But
well, there you go. Now you can move on to new experiences and new games.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll probably come back to it at some point. I have for the past 10 years, so I imagine that will go
back
into the future.
That's Blizzard's secret.
I know, it's hard to get away. They get their hooks in you. Diablo, we already talked about Diablo in a earlier podcast. We were gone for a while, and then we came back, as strong as ever. So
I would go out to say that the way I feel about Diablo and the way you feel about Diablo is like an inverse of the way that we both feel about World of Warcraft. Like, you really like WoW, you have fond memories of WoW. I didn't really dig into WoW until Wrath of the Lich King, which was the 3rd expansion. So I didn't have those fond childhood memories because $15 a month was a lot to ask for young Seth. But Diablo 2, man, you talk about a game that I poured some hours into. Yeah, and then for you, I think Diablo is more or less like, oh, it's fun, it's engaging, but it's not something that, like, you don't relish the grind fest that it is. But you do.
Oh no, I love the game. I never played Diablo 2 really. I honestly don't. I mean, Diablo 2 I tried to play it and it was hard. Not playing it when it came out and coming back years later and trying to play it was...
Yeah, it's a tough one to
It's
pick
pretty
up if you
unforgiving,
missed
especially with your builds and stuff. You know, you put a point in the wrong place and you're like, whoops, okay, well, I'm stuck with that.
it. Yeah.
Which Diablo 3 is the complete opposite. And some people didn't like that, but I like the kind of freedom that gives you. You don't have to worry about messing up stuff, and you can experiment with different abilities and mix it up. So,
But yeah, Blizzard knows how to create games that if they don't stick with you for a long time consistently, they will definitely crop back up, and they know how to revitalize things. Quoting Reaper of Souls here, they know how to, if something's broken, they will think it through and fix it, you know.
For sure. So what are you playing this week? You got any games you want to knock out this weekend, or playing anything interesting I don't know about?
So as far as games this week, again, I've kind of been pouring more time into Fanboy Explosion and work, so I haven't really had a chance to sit down. I don't have any secret games per se.
Secret games.
But I did go shopping tonight. I picked up a $25 Xbox Live card and a $10 Nintendo eShop card. So I believe that those are going to be used to make purchases, to create content that you will soon see on our YouTube channel, hopefully. So keep your eyes over there. We'll be playing two specific games that I know of right now.
Yeah, that's what we're planning on doing, some cool stuff over the weekend, so you can expect some stuff to come. We're gonna try out video for once, and just we'll keep the game surprise, I guess. But
I need to tell you right quick of this very strange omen that just occurred. I literally turned around to look behind me, and somehow my World of Warcraft Wrath of Lich King box is sitting on top of the shelf behind me. I don't remember putting it there.
Hello, Seth. I heard you talking about me. The Lich King hears all.
His cold, dead eyes are gazing into my soul right now. So I just wanted to talk. I wanted to put that on record. If I come up missing, please come find me and check the box.
There must always be a Lich King. You are the new
next
one.
Lich King. But anyways, jumping back to what I've been playing this week. I brushed my 3DS back off. I played a couple of levels of Super Mario 3D Land. That was fun. That was genuinely fun.
I never got around to playing that one, actually.
It's people that have played it, they know the dynamic of it. It blends that 2D platforming, kind of the strategy of the 2D platforming into this 3D world, and the ability to just throw it in your pocket is really great. I received a text message from a friend of mine who listens to the podcast that reemphasized my immediate need to play Fire Emblem, so I'm sure that is going to be coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, apparently I was not harsh enough on you for that. I didn't give you hard enough time that you hadn't played Fire Emblem, so
yes,
consider it done. Play Fire Emblem, you big dummy.
So that's going to be coming up, but that's about it for my gaming this week. I plan for the next week to be a little bit more exciting in that front. So we'll have to see what happens. But what about you?
Well, last week on Patch Notes, I said I was gonna accept the impossible task of trying to finish everything in Dragon Age, and what do you know? I actually did it.
Oh God!
I collected every one of those damn, what are they even called, like shards. I collected all of those. I did basically, I think, almost every side quest on my map. I might not have done a handful of them. I did most of the places of power.
Wow.
I mean, I did it, like I said, I did almost everything. Total playtime was clocked in at 70 hours.
Wow.
It was so now that I finished it, I feel like I can kind of more fairly judge it, where before I was a little hesitant to be too critical of it because I hadn't finished and I heard the ending was pretty strong, which I think it is. It's almost a little anticlimactic. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. I know you're playing it too, so I'm not going to spoil it, but it's solid. It's a solid game. I think it has some issues. I think it has a lot of filler. I mean, they talked about, BioWare talked about they wanted to have this world that you can explore and have all these other things to do in between the story missions. Whereas a game like Dragon Age Origins was story mission after story mission after story mission, they wanted like a break where you could take your time and go at your own pace doing other things before you jump back to those story missions. And I think that's a good idea, except in Inquisition's case, all the side missions are pretty boring. There's no real, you don't meet any interesting characters on any of them. A lot of it's collect quest, kill this many things, pick up this many herbs, run to this spot. It's pretty, that wasn't that great. And like I said, I did a lot of that stuff. I don't know why. And it's not compelling. It's just not compelling. So I think that's probably the major problem. Also the glitches. I was glitching out till the very last moments. I was glitching out. My game froze in the final cutscene, and I had to replay part of the final battle. So that was fun too.
Man. That is cool.
Now I don't know if that was a glitch or just my Xbox was tired of me playing for 8 hours straight. But so
that
yeah,
took some chops, man.
Yeah, so I finished that. Knocked that one off. Marked that one off the board. And I finally started playing Assassin's Creed Unity, which has been sitting on my shelf for a while.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It's, see, I'm pretty afraid because I don't understand. I thought it was supposed to be a lot better now. It's still pretty not good. Now, I love Assassin's Creed, and I'm still going to play this one, and I still enjoy it. It's an abusive relationship, basically. And it's just, there's still lots of glitches, lots of texture pop in, slow down when you get in areas with a lot of people. Sometimes my character just decides he won't climb anywhere. He won't climb up or down. He's like paralyzed by indecision, and he can't figure out what to jump to. And he just sits there for like 20 seconds. Actually, we were playing the other night and we were talking on party chat, and my character, he was standing still, or he was on the ground, and I was walking, and then I went to the map, and when I came back out of the map, I couldn't move my character. And it stayed like that. Yeah, it stayed like that for 5 minutes. I tried everything I could. I even went to the menu and I bought some upgrades, and I tried to fast travel, and I was stuck. I could not do anything. And so I had to reboot it. And I was like, wow, this is great. What a fun game.
Next generation of gaming.
The next generation is here, truly. So I'm working my way through that. I'm not very far in. I mean, I finished like the prologue. I'm actually an assassin now.
So let me ask you, as far as Arno as a character, tell me your thoughts on him.
I think he's better than we've had in the past in terms of the franchise. Basically he's Ezio 2 is how I would describe him. He's Ezio 2. Ezio started as this kind of renegade playboy, charmer, kind of had a sense of humor about him, and became a little more serious as the series went on. And Arno starts.
And then he grew a beard and
then he grew
ass.
and then he grew a beard and was a total badass. Even though Revelations wasn't that great, that was the most important contribution it made. It was that Ezio grew a beard.
Yes.
So Arno is kind of like Ezio. He starts kind of innocent. He's always wisecracking. He doesn't take things too seriously. He gets caught in trouble. So he's like that, and he is like that. Even after he becomes initiated into the Assassins, he's still kind of that same character, which is much better than I think Edward Kenway and Black Flag. As much as I think Black Flag is probably the best Assassin's Creed game to date. Edward Kenway, who is the main character in that, he is not terribly interesting. He's a pirate. He's just like, I don't care about anyone but me, and I do what I want, and blah, 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 blah. And he's just kind of, he's an archetype, a stereotype. He's not very deep in any meaningful way. And Connor in Assassin's Creed 3 is just a blank slate of I don't even know. It's not very good.
Connor had so much potential.
He did, and that's what hurts me the most. Is of all of them, he did have the most potential, and he just came off as kind of I guess he just came off as kind of angry, or not even that, but it wasn't like an interesting angry. It was just there just wasn't much to him. He was a very one-dimensional character. So at least Arno and Ezio are two dimensions. You know, they have some personality quirks about them, and they're kind of funny, and you know, so it's better. And the game, Unity looks fantastic when it's not slowing down. When it's like the cutscenes and people's faces aren't peeling off, it looks really nice. I mean, I'm excited for the future running on this engine. You know, once they iron out the kinks, because that'll look fantastic. It'll look amazing. But yeah, right now glitches are holding it back. So I'm gonna be working on that, and I'll probably try and tackle some of the indie games. I've been meaning to play Stanley Parable. I think you've been meaning to play that too, haven't you?
Yeah,
you haven't played it yet.
When I sat down to play it, I got about 30 to 45 minutes into it, and then I realized that there's not a way to save that I could see. So to me, it seems like one of those games you kind of have to beat in one sitting. Now, I may be completely wrong on that. I need to go and check. So I just stopped playing, and I haven't tried it again since.
I'll have to try and I'll check it out. I'm going to probably try and play that, because if it is one of those games you can kind of just knock out in one sitting, don't have to devote a whole lot of time to it, I'd go ahead and see how that is. I've heard a lot of good things and just never got around to it.
We're a little late on that one. 2013 game.
Did it really come out in 2013?
I believe it did, yeah, because it was right around that time with Gone Home and all that.
Oh, you might be right, actually. Wow.
Welcome,
now, we both did play Gone Home. We did play that.
Yeah. We love Gone Home.
You can only pick one walking game, right? You can't play both of them at the same time.
Well, they had a little bit of a gap between them, but despite the fact they were both kind of walking exploration games, they both have two starkly different approaches. And
they're
themes.
very different. Very different. Oh, actually, I saw this today. The second episode of the Telltale Game of Thrones game is going to be coming out soon. Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if it's next week or the next week, but that's definitely on my radar. I have that game right now, so I've played the first episode. So really looking forward to this. I mean, you have it too, but you haven't finished it.
Man, it's stress. Dude, you want to talk about concentrated stress? The Telltale games, like Walking Dead, was tough for me. Just because those kinds of decisions, they really fatigue me. I am kind of a perfectionist when it comes to the character of my characters. Like, I want the characters to make the decisions that I want them to make. And Game of Thrones is I know it's one of those experiences that it's lose-lose. You honestly
basically
you don't win.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
You don't win that, and so. For me, it's very stressful, and so I have to do it in very small bursts. But I do, now that we have a release date, I was like, I'll wait for this second episode. But now that the second episode has a date that's not that far from now, it's time for me to buck up and hit that. I've taken a little bit of a break these past 2 weeks from really sitting down and gaming. But like I said, this next week I'm planning to carve some time out and really dig deep. So, and one of the things that I might try doing, I don't know, we'll see, but I really would like to stream games more, despite the fact that no one watches our stream right now. As we go through these kinds of games, I think it would just be an interesting experiment to see if people would care to watch first reactions and engage in that or not. So I don't know, if you want to, you can follow our Twitch stream. I believe it's twitch.tv/Fanboy Explosion. You can come over there. We've started streaming our nightly gaming sessions. So I don't know, I'm kind of playing with that right now. I know you're not a huge fan of streaming. And I'm not a huge fan, honestly, but I think it would be cool if some fans eventually would kind of jump in and kind of watch us enjoy some of these games and be able to kind of see us in the heat of the moment as we play the game, and then be able to come in and us talk about them in this podcast, and kind of have two different dynamics there. But anyways,
I will say that Game of Thrones would be an excellent reaction If you're streaming just for like first reactions to see how people react to terrible situations, that would definitely be an excellent one to experiment with, just because it's a doozy. There's some flip my table, jump in your seat moments for sure. Now, and it's only about 3 hours long, so you need to finish it.
Yeah, I think I've played about 45 minutes, but I haven't got to any of the table flippers yet. But I can just feel them. I can feel it coming. Like, I know that out of nowhere something's gonna happen, and it's just gonna go downhill from there.
Yeah, it's a bad scenario. It's a bad situation all around. But that's what makes it great. I mean, it's Game of Thrones. You know it's gonna be bad. You know everyone's gonna be screwed over in some terrible way. So that's what makes it fun.
Yep.
But
so, anything else you've been playing, or?
Nah, that's about it. I can only play so many things, only have so much time in the day, sadly.
Well, there you go. So, speaking of time, let's turn back time a little bit here to one of my favorite childhood games that I fondly remember. Star Wars Rogue Squadron is now available on Good Old Games, along with an assortment of some others, I believe, some more TIE Fighter games. I know that Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, which, if you don't know what that is an Age of Empires clone. It was made by the same people who made Age of Empires on the same engine, but it's that, except insert Star Wars people. It came out right after Episode 1, so it has like the Trade Federation and Gungans and junk like that.
Gungans, yes!
Yes, but it also has, the Wookiees, it has the Rebels, the Imperials, and I just remember, honestly, I don't know that it's an exceptionally great game, but I remember as a kid, like, playing it, because, Star Wars is, dude, that's my lifeblood,
Remind us of your Twitter handle.
Yes, my
quick.
Twitter handle is @DarthTurner, and that is my username. Basically, since, like, I remember as a child, they were like, Seth, you've got to pick a name for your email. What do you want it to be? And I was like, I want to be on the dark side. I am Darth Turner. Like, it was not even, like, I didn't even have to think about it. And to this day, I use it. So, needless to say, it was always fun. Ironically enough, Imperials were my favorite class in that game because the AT-ATs destroyed everything. But it was, I'm glad to see it coming back. I don't know. I'll definitely put it on my wish list there, and I may pick it up sometime. I would love to just kind of romp back through that. A good old RTS with some cheesy dialogue and cheesy story, but heck, it's Star Wars, man. I'll take it.
So what is the Rogue Squadron? Is that the one that came out for N64?
Yeah, now, Rogue Squadron's the N64, the flight sim from Factor 5.
Well, it's not a flight sim. It's like an arcade.
It was an arcade
flying game.
Yeah, flight sims are bad, but like the reason I use that term is it was very much more aware of like what it's like to fly in a starship than any other Star Wars game ever was. Like,
okay, well, you just mentioned TIE Fighter.
Well, I mean, TIE Fighter was...
See, that to me is like...
I guess so. You're right.
That's a flight sim.
That is a flight sim.
Or a space sim, I guess.
As far as when I was a kid, I never played TIE Fighter. Never played it.
I've never played... I mean, I've never played it either.
I think it was a little bit before you were my time. But I do remember Rogue Squadron. I remember taking my N64 all over the place with me, and the cartridges I would always have is Rogue Squadron and Super Mario 64. So that was my favorite N64 game when I was a kid, because I remember when I got Ocarina of Time, but I didn't quite understand the game or how important it was at that time. But I remember Rogue Squadron. I remember how it felt the first time I wrapped up an AT-AT and took them down, and I was like, I am the master of all Star Wars. I was so excited. But, yeah, both of those games are coming back to Good Old Games. I'm so glad that Good Old Games is working to preserve some of these games, because, quite honestly, like, you can't, like, if those games, like, N64s are still around, but, give it another 10 years,
I'm assuming this came out... Because I don't know, honestly, and that's why I was asking. Like, I'm assuming that... I don't think it's an N64... Is it an N64 port? Did it, like, originally when it came out on N64, did it also come out on PC? Because I'm pretty sure it's not... This is not, like, the exact N64 game. I don't think.
I don't ever remember a PC version. I don't ever remember a PC version. As far as I know, it is an N64 exclusive. And so I think that's part of the kind of the excitement here.
But stuff that was exclusive, things that are PS4 exclusive also come out on PC.
That's true.
So I don't know. I don't know. And I haven't seen... I think I did actually briefly look at it on the Good Old Games store. And I didn't really see anything about it. I was just wondering that. But yeah, that's a fun game. I didn't actually have an N64, but I think I actually probably played it at your place at some point in time. So, and when I got my GameCube, the games that caught my eye was, Rogue Leader, and then later Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, which wasn't as good because you had those silly foot segments, but yeah, I mean, it's a great series. I'd love to see that come back. I'd love to see a new Rogue Squadron game.
Oh man, that would be absolutely great.
EA, if you're paying attention, that's what I think.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. EA, before you do that, make sure you make Battlefront good.
Well, maybe Battlefront will have some of that, like if the ship combat and stuff. So maybe that'll tide us over.
Yeah, if you can put some Rogue Squadron fun into the new Battlefront game, go for it, man. The money is waiting. It's there. Take it. But no, I remember Rogue Squadron specifically. That was the first time I had ever heard of and at this point he's not fan fiction. He's in the movie. He is in the movie. But that was the first time I ever heard of Crix Madine.
Who the hell is that? I don't know who that is at all.
He's in Return of the Jedi. He is an Imperial defector who provides. He was like an Imperial. I don't know what his rank was, but he was a very high-ranking Imperial officer, and he switches over to the Rebellion, and he actually orchestrates a lot of the key assaults on it that the rebels do because he has so much intel about the Empire. But I remember I heard that name. I was like, that's a cool name, Crix Madine. And then, obviously, I would jump on and research everything that I could about him and found out his kind of backstory. And I remember that was like when you're in that play stage of being a kid, like that. I remember being like, I'm Crix Madine. I gotta escape from the Empire and get to the rebels. That was just a fun thing and part of the reason that
he's in the movies.
Yeah, he's in the movies.
In which movie?
In Return of the Jedi, he is. You remember they go to the war room, right?
Oh, is he just like
planning?
Yeah.
He is actually the. I believe he is the guy who presents the plan when they're like, and Mon Mothma is like, and now over to Crix Madine or whoever. I don't even know if she says his name or not, but she's like, he's going to tell us the strategy. And in the movie they don't say anything about his backstory, but in Rogue Squadron, the mission you're on is basically he's defected from the Empire, and you have to extract him from his base, and that's the first mission. You have to take down an AT-AT. It was the mission I got stuck on for literally weeks, and so that was part of the reason. When I overcame it, it was really cool. I was like, yeah, I got Crix out of there.
It was such a big moment, yeah.
It was really cool. Just one of those early childhood memories. But I'm glad to see it's coming back. It's a great game if you haven't ever played it. Because you're either too young to have been able to own that console or whatever. I would encourage you. I'm not sure of the price, but go pick it up. It's a great, what you said is exactly right. It's a much better description. It is an arcade flight game. It's a very arcadey. You shoot 'em up. It's not. Don't think of it as a flight sim if you're not into flight sims. It's fun for anyone who enjoys.
Yeah, if you want a flight sim, get X-Wing or a TIE Fighter, which will probably require a joystick, so good luck with that. I don't actually have a flight stick to play those kinds of games. Because I remember I bought Wing Commander 3 on Good Old Games because people were talking so much about it. Now, that's the one. Mark Hamill is actually in that. He stars in the full motion video cutscenes for that game, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. I need to play this. I've heard it's one of the best kind of space dogfighting games out there. And I bought it, and the controls without a flight stick were terrible. I can't do anything. It's a struggle to figure out how the game plays. So that one's never probably going to get touched again until I get a flight stick. But, oh well, that's how it goes. Yeah. When you're buying those older games, man, those oldies. Speaking of oldies, when does Grim Fandango come out? Do you know?
Not
remastered?
off the top of my head. I am not certain about that.
I was just seeing stuff about it recently, and I couldn't remember when it came out, but that's something I'm really interested in playing. I mean, and that's LucasArts as well. You know, that's all that old LucasArts good stuff, so.
Oh, yeah.
Also in news this week, this is a pretty big one for both of us, I think, was Elder Scrolls Online announced that they're dropping their subscription. So, you know, I lose my WoW subscription, and now I go play Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, now it's not called Elder Scrolls Online. It's called Tamriel Unlimited.
Well, it's Elder Scrolls Online Tamriel Unlimited.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's a colon thing. Because everywhere I was reading, they were just calling it Tamriel Unlimited.
No, yeah, they just tacked that on there, kind of like I think some games have done that in the past, where it'll be a name, and then they'll add something when it goes free to play. They like add something else to it to distinguish it from what it was. I don't know. It's weird.
Also,
but
just a moment. January 27th is the Grim Fandango remaster launch date, so very close.
Ah, excellent. Okay, I'll have to check that out then. But yeah, Elder Scrolls Online, they announced the console release date coming in, I can't even, is it June? I think it's June.
Yes, it's in June. I've got it right here.
Yep, coming in June
9th.
for Xbox One and PS4, and it's, no subscription fee for the console or PC version. Now
PC version comes March 17th. So
oh,
there you go.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, but there is going to be, there's going to be like microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
You can
in-game currency.
Yep, you can buy skins and cosmetic items and convenience items.
And there's going to be a premium subscription too that gives you all the DLC that comes out or has come out. Gives you boost to your XP, gold, and crafting rates, and a certain amount of the in-game currency each month that you stay subscribed. So that's an interesting approach. I like that.
Well, yeah, that's pretty similar to like Old Republic. Like if you can still sub to Old Republic if you want to, and then like every month they give you an amount of premium currency which you can use to
cartel coins.
Yeah, which you can use to buy things. So it's similar to a lot of other models out there. Yes. Now I know both of us. This was a game we were pretty excited about, I think, but we were also
we were hyped.
But we were also very cautious, I think is the word we would use.
Well, we just knew the track record, like with MMOs against WoW. Like we knew the track record. But I remember we went to Star Wars Celebration 5. We went to the art panel. I remember they were doing the live drawing of some character from it, and like they talked about the game while they were there, and it just sounded so cool.
Oh, Old Republic. Well, I was talking actually about Elder Scrolls, but
oh, my bad. Sorry.
But Old Republic, we were really pumped for that too, and that one went downhill way faster, I think.
Yes.
But not downhill. I think it's doing okay now. They just had the Revan expansion, but Elder Scrolls, we both really like Elder Scrolls. You played a lot of Morrowind back in the day, and a lot of Skyrim. I didn't play a whole lot. I played Morrowind, but not a whole lot. I played Oblivion. I probably played the most of Skyrim. I really like Skyrim. So I was interested in online. But yeah, I think we were both kind of cautious about it. We played the beta.
Oh yeah, the beta was enjoyable, but it wasn't $15 a month enjoyable. That was the only sad part.
Yeah, it was cool, but yeah, just not enough for us to sub, I think.
But I'll get it on console.
But yeah, now it's going to be free. You just pay $60. You have it forever. As long as the console version, because I want to get it on console because I think it will run better than on my PC. My PC is not the best, and especially for some of those PvP battles on Elder Scrolls Online, where there's hundreds and hundreds of people just like wailing around, bogs it down really quickly. Frame rates go to like almost non-existent on my computer, so I'd rather play on the Xbox where I think it might run a little better. And I hope the controls are better. The controls aren't bad. It's standard MMO controls for PC. But I want to see how it translates to the console. And I think that'll be something. I could see being something we play. We played Destiny. We kind of expected Destiny to be our MMO because that's kind of how they were billing it. But Destiny is as we will discuss at a later date, was not exactly what we were wanting.
The follow-through was not what we expected.
Yeah, not enough content there for us. And so I think this Elder Scrolls Online might be something we will come back to regularly. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. But yeah, we're looking forward to that. That was a bit of kind of, I think it was rumored that it would maybe be undergoing some kind of free to play microtransaction transformation. But it was a surprise when I woke up earlier this week and I saw that, and I was genuinely happy. I was like, wow, okay, cool, that's another game I'm gonna buy. That was never a game on my radar until they dropped that fee, and now I'm gonna get it. And I think it will probably be that way for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think it's a smart move. Definitely a smart move for them, for Bethesda.
Yeah, so I mean, something's better than nothing. Give a little bit away for free, let people enjoy it, let people socialize, and then, honestly, if it's come a long way and the content's fun, just like we resub to WoW every now and then, I'm not beyond subscribing to that for a month or two to try out that extra content. But the ability to play it for free is definitely, like, that's the difference between playing it and not playing it. So there you go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So another thing that happened this week, I know most people are probably tired of hearing about Nintendo at this point, but I think it's important and something to note is the Nintendo Rewards program is going away later this year.
For now.
They said it's going to come back. And Nintendo Rewards is, I think I've maybe used it maybe 4 times total. The most I used it was registering the copies of Smash so that we could get the Mewtwo download and the soundtrack for Super Smash Brothers. But yeah, it looks like that's going away to come back at a later time. So I mean, if I've always heard that the American version of that was not quite like what it was in Japan. Like in Japan, it's a big deal and the rewards are really great. But in America, it's like the most intense thing I ever remember hearing about was like some exclusive posters for A Link Between Worlds.
I mean, I think you can get, like, they sometimes would have, and to explain how it works, basically, yeah, you just register your Nintendo products, and it adds, like, a certain amount of coins to your account, and then you would buy rewards with those coins. Most of them were, like, a lot of times they were free games.
Yeah, games were a big part of the realistic rewards. Yeah, for
eShop stuff. Like, so most people, if you bought a couple Nintendo games a year, you could snag a couple free game, like a free game or two. I know I got like Kirby Dreamland, I think.
Yeah.
The free one I got last year. But other than that, yeah, there were like a lot of posters, a lot of little stuff like that. But the top tier rewards, which were, I don't understand how you could possibly get that many, because doesn't it reset, your coins would reset after like a year or two or something?
I think it would reset, so you had to pile it on there.
So can't stockpile, basically. You can't have like 5 years worth of Nintendo products and then buy this super awesome Mario statue.
No,
you basically had to. Yeah, so it's I don't know, it wasn't amazing. I think some people are pretty sad to see it go, but if it's going to come back better and stronger, bring it on. Because it
was definitely a unique system. I think Xbox has a reward program of sorts.
Yeah, fun fact, we're Xbox fanboys. Xbox Rewards sucks.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's just...
You don't get is nothing. It's like, oh, you're a loyal 10-year member, Cameron. Here's 50 cents for every $50 you spend. Yeah. Or something that's not actually true, but it's
Meanwhile, the 10-year WoW subscribers are getting statues,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, and I'm not one of those people who like cares about rewards programs or like, oh my gosh, I mean, I can't believe I'm not getting more for this free thing that you're offering me that you don't have to. But the Xbox Rewards program is pretty lackluster. Like, you don't really get much for it. There's not really any cool like special things you get. It's basically you take a survey every month, and that's like your primary means of getting like money added to your account so you can buy stuff. Like, basically, They reward you, they give you some money back on purchases and for the surveys and things, so you can spend that money on like the Xbox store. But like I said, you do a survey every month. You get like, I don't even know how much it is. It's not very
Pennies,
much.
probably.
Yeah, it's a very small amount. So like maybe if you did one every month, you would get like a couple dollars back. And so it's crap. But so Nintendo's was definitely better. In other words, I would think. I think Nintendo's was definitely a little better. Or it seems better. I mean, considering how many Nintendo products you had to buy to be able to redeem some of that stuff, maybe not. Xbox, I pay $60 a year, and I'm in this rewards program, and I get, almost nothing. So,
Yeah.
It'll
be interesting to see how they bring it back. It will be interesting to see how it will evolve and whether or not other people will follow suit. But if that's something that happens this year, it's gonna probably be way later this year because the reward program goes through June. And something that was really interesting is that I noticed the cutoff day for registering for the Smash Brothers content, the Mewtwo character and the soundtrack. The cutoff for that was literally like the day before they announced the end of Nintendo Club Rewards. And I know that because I waited to the last day to register the 3DS and Wii copies that we have. But that was probably like their last shining light, but I think you can earn coins through March, and then you can spend those coins through June. But after June, it's gone forever.
Yeah, I don't have enough coins to really get anything. Well, I'm probably buying... Well, actually, I'm buying Majora's Mask, and then I'm buying Codename Steam, in the next couple months. So I might end up having enough to redeem one of those games. Yeah. One of those free games. So we'll see. Maybe I can snag something on the way out.
Yeah, because you can take the opinion surveys about those games as well to get some bonus coins.
Bonus coins. Yeah, I like surveys. Reward programs. You're rewarding me for helping you.
Yeah, dude.
It's like
data is
you're
valuable.
A loyal member. Here's a survey.
Marketing person here. Data is very valuable, and if I can give you literally pennies to get your opinion on things, like hell yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah, so that's all very interesting. Well, I hope it comes back better, stronger. We'll see how that works. But yeah, people were definitely sad. I think some other people are going to be sad. This is probably the only other major news thing for this week that we just kind of wanted to chat about. The Marvel event coming up this summer, Marvel Secret Wars, is officially killing the Ultimate Universe. And, basically every universe, because it's mushing them all into one through this event called Secret Wars, which is just going to have all these different characters from all these different universes, battling it out. It's going to be pretty darn crazy from what it sounds like for anyone who follows the Marvel Universe. I mean, it's been building towards this for a while, and we've seen hints that, people thinking that the Ultimate Universe was gonna go away, and Miles Morales, who is the Ultimate Spider-Man, that he's gonna be, he's really the only, for the past while now, he's been really the only Ultimate Marvel Universe character of any clout, and he was the only one with a Ultimate book going on. And so now they're going to officially bring him into the Marvel Universe proper along with everyone else in existence. So it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. I kind of like having separate universes, I think, because it lets you do different things. Because the point of Marvel, or the point of Ultimate Universe, was in Ultimate Universe you could tell stories that you couldn't tell in the Marvel Universe proper. You could kill off characters. You could make Captain America president, and when people died, they stay dead. And it was, there was just a lot of riskier storytelling, I think, going on over there. And now, not all of it was, great, but... So that was the whole point of it, and now that it's merging into the universe proper, is that going to go away? Are we going to see less risk like that? It's pretty...
Well, you see what's going to happen is they're going to have some kind of reality splitting event, and through that crack in time and space, the Millennium Falcon will fly through, along with a Star Destroyer close behind in pursuit, and we will see a beautiful merging of those two universes as Disney prepares the bankroll statement for Maximum, right?
Maximum profit.
Maximum profit, yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if Luke Skywalker, in like the back of some panel somewhere in one of these crossover event comics, you see like Luke Skywalker's head or something. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some like kind of cameo that pops up. But yeah.
Are you ready for the variant cover of something somewhere that's going to have basically the Avengers but swapped out with the Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie?
That would be amazing. Also.
Right here, it's going to happen. I promise you, it will happen.
Probably at some point. But yeah, that was the other really big deal. I mean, a lot of comics are gonna be ending their runs once that event starts, but then a lot of new ones are gonna be popping up. If you followed any of that stuff, Marvel for a while was teasing all these different, what looked like a bunch of mini events. Prior to making this announcement. So there was a Civil War comic, which Civil War was a really big event that happened in the Marvel Universe, several years ago now. So there was that. There was a World War or a Planet Hulk tease, which was another event. And so it was basically all these old events that were being kind of like recycled, and no one knew exactly what was going on, and we're like, is this all one event? Are these different events? What's going on? And so yeah, what it is after Secret Wars happens, those are going to be new ongoing or limited run comics. So there will be like a new Civil War comic. I mean, I honestly have no idea how any of this is going to work. It's going to be batshit crazy in Marvel Town for a while. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know what's going to happen. It's going to be freaking bonkers, though, so definitely pay attention to that. And, I mean, there's more eyes on Marvel Comics now than there's ever been, as, all the fans from the movies kind of, they'll check out comics, and they're kind of getting into it. So I think merging them all together, it will simplify things eventually. Kind of like DC has tried to do, I think, with New 52, although they still have some multiverses and stuff like that, but...
Yeah.
It should, I think, maybe it'll make it a little easier for people breaking in, but it's definitely going to be pretty confusing as hell for everyone who's been around for a while as all these universes collide with one another.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the year 2015 is the year that Marvel is trying to create the springboard for their future by taking over the Star Wars, license. And then now by kind of rebooting the universe as a whole, Marvel it's in a different state now. The movies like you said, the movies have pushed it into a level of popularity that's beyond comics. It's more than just that. And although the cinematic universe is separate, you're right. A lot of the overflow for the excitement and eagerness for new content has boosted, I believe, that comic business. And so new people are coming in that don't have much of a background in comics, they haven't grown up with comics. So I think it's interesting. They're trying to kind of reset press the reset button and make it inviting for new folks, but also engaging for the traditional, comic fans as well.
Well, yeah, just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, two Marvel movies are coming out this year. We're going to have Avengers Age of Ultron, and then we're also going to have Ant-Man. And Marvel just relaunched a brand new Ant-Man comic just a couple weeks ago when they had not had one for a while. So now, here's this new Ant-Man comic. So when people go see the movie, it's not like the comic is a movie tie-in or anything. It's its own thing, and it's definitely in the Marvel comic, universe. It's not like a cinematic movie tie-in, and it's not like dumbed down or anything like that. But they want to get the character out there. So when people come and they see the movie, and then they walk into the comic store, they see Ant-Man. Hey, I'm familiar with Ant-Man as a character now. I know kind of who he is. I know kind of like this, this cinematic universe version of his origin story, and you can dive in and you can know generally what's going on. And that's what they're doing, and they've done that for a while now, I think, and they'll continue to probably do that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big year for Marvel, a huge year even, considering, that Ant-Man, a lot of people are a little skeptical about, but I think maybe they're a little less skeptical now that Guardians of the Galaxy did so well. And then, of course, Age of Ultron, Avengers is going to be, if it's anything, if it's, even as close to as big as the original Avengers, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a huge hit.
Oh, yeah. Just prepare. Scrooge McDuck's money vault will not be able to hold all of the cash from that movie, I believe.
And then as soon as Disney has finished raking in all that money, Star Wars is going to come out. And then they're going to have a pile that's probably 3 times as large.
Good. I can feel the capitalism flowing through you.
I'll say it's good when the movie turns out to not be shit. That's when I'll be like, all right, Disney, you can take your money. You've done good.
Yeah, don't worry, folks. I'm pretty sure that's going to be an entire conversation. We need to just wait till we get something a little bit more story-centric, but I'm anxious to have that conversation with you, and excited to have that because we have different opinions on that movie, and I think a lot of it has to do with our backgrounds.
Yes, I know it's dumb to have opinions on movies that aren't even close to being out yet. I am fully aware of how dumb it is, but I still have one anyways, so...
Well, it's one thing to have an opinion on a movie that may be a new endeavor or whatnot, but Star Wars is Star Wars, man. And after being told that we would not get another Star Wars film after the initial 6, as soon as they announced the 7th one, even though it did come out that George Lucas was planning on making a 7th one and then selling the franchise, it seems that he sold it before then because Disney wanted it, and then Disney scrapped his episode 7.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
As cautious as I am about this new one, I will say it was probably a good idea to take whatever George's idea was and just throw that in the garbage can and do something else, because we know he has not had the best time since Empire Strikes Back, I guess, really.
Which he didn't even direct.
So it's been a while since he's been, I think, at the top of his game. So probably for the best, Disney, but I'm not going to let you off the hook. I'm going to wait and see how it turns out before I say anything. But
that's going to be interesting to see. So as always, make sure for new content, you check out fanboyexplosion.com. Was there anything else that you wanted to add at the end here?
Oh, no, I'm tired. This is an hour long. I'm going to sleep right now. Huh?
Boom, there we go. So make sure to check out fanboyexplosion.com for all the latest content as soon as it's available. Also, follow us on Twitter at fanboyexplosion. You can please send us any questions or comments that you have. You can tweet us, or you can send us an email at fanboyexplosion@gmail.com. Any questions that you send in that are appropriate, we'd love to answer them on the air. You can subscribe on iTunes as well. And if you'd like to follow our personal accounts, my personal, as I said before, is at Darth Turner.
And I'm at CLK Gamer.
Boom. So there you go. Thanks again for joining us for another Patch Notes. We'll be doing these every Friday, kind of talking about our week. So make sure to keep checking back in for new content next week. And then if you like the show, make sure to check back next Friday for the next episode.
And spread the word.
Spread the word, share with your friends, and we're open to any feedback. So y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you again.